Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Integrity Botanicals YouTube channel. Today, I am finally, no idea what took me so long, been loving this foundation on the down low for a while. I'm going to be bringing you my little review of the ERE Perez Oat Milk Foundation. Now, a lot of you have probably heard of this. It's pretty beloved in the green beauty world, and I'm going to not only share my thoughts on it with you, but I will, of course, show you me applying it in different ways, and I will, of course, show you the shade range of this product as well. So let's start off with how this product looks, shall we? That's usually how we begin. So for packaging, it is this really great tube. It just has ERE Perez Oat Milk Foundation in the shade on the back. I really like tube foundations because I think they allow you to get every last drop out of it. Like, you could just squish it till you get every single drop. So there's very, very minimal waste. And if you really want to go for it, you can cut the top off and just scrape every single bit out. I love that. I love that. I love that. It's a little less common now. A lot of things are like in pumps, and you can't always go the full extra mile with that product. So I love this. Not only that, I like that the squeezy tube on this, it's not a very runny foundation, so it doesn't come like pouring out where you waste a lot of product. There's a lot of control with this as well. So I do enjoy that. It's $36.50. I think that's pretty very really, as far as green beauty price points are concerned with foundations, I think it's a really great price point. And it is the standard foundation size, which is an ounce or 30 milliliters. That is pretty standard across the board. It's also a 100% vegan formula, which is always fantastic. The more inclusive, the better. Now, for the bad part, there are only 6 shades in this foundation, and that is not just the shades we carry, that is just the only shades that they create. Now, as we all know what the whole Black Lives Matters movement is, and I've left statements in every video I've uploaded since that sort of came to a head, you know that myself and Integrity Botanicals, we stand in solidarity with that movement. I just want everybody to understand that absolutely. And I think something very beneficial that we will notice from this movement being brought to the forefront in such a very big way. Forefront, I'm sorry, I didn't like enunciate well. Anyway, I do think we are going to see a lot more inclusivity specifically with shade ranges, because, you know, there's so many great lipstick options, there's so many great eyeshadow options, there's so many great, you know, things that can be used on a multitude of different skin tones, but I think that a lot of shade range prevents green beauty from being more inclusive. And I do know that it's a conversation of like budgets and how much can be created. I know we can't all pull a Fenty and pull out 40 shades at once. Wouldn't that be nice? But I do think that is something to absolutely strive for, and I hope the brand is doing so, because 6 shades is really, really tight. But those of you who can use this foundation shade, even if you could do a little mixture, because even like 2 bottles of this would be right around the price point of 1 if you absolutely love it. You can sort of, you know, do mad scientist. Or I always mix my foundations with other things when I'm a little bit more fair. This time I did not, because I want to show exactly how this foundation's working. But some of my favorite combinations have been mixing and matching. So if your foundation's never not the right shade for you and you think it's very close, you can go ahead and do that. Anyway, let's get back to regular scheduled programming. I just want to make a note of that, because I think that is a very positive change that we will be seeing. I don't know when, but you know I will report to you when that time is. So, 6 shades. It's a non-greasy natural finish. I am wearing it on my face today. I do think it gets more dewy as you wear it, and it doesn't break down and look gross. It just sort of melts into the skin very, very nicely. I did quickly want to say, weird new thing I have to mention. I don't think this foundation looks great without a touch-up powder if you have to wear a mask all day. So I did wear this to work one day for the first time in a while, and of course now I'm wearing a mask at work. I'm working, by the way, like outside in like 80 degree, like not even 80 degree, like 90 degree heat with like 110% humidity. So foundation really gets put to the test. But underneath my mask, I found that it did just get way too greasy looking. Nothing that a little bit of powder couldn't fix. They do also have a translucent powder. This powder I wouldn't really call translucent, but if you wanted to sort of keep with the ERE Perez family, this is a corn translucent powder that they have as well. That will do the trick. I did go ahead and apply that right here in the center of my face as well, just to dull down any shine. But it claims to be a non-greasy natural finish that is also long-lasting. And I do think that it is all of those things. I haven't met a natural foundation that is like, oh my God, I wore it for all, 9 hours and it just looked perfect. I don't think that's really the case, but this does wear very beautifully. And like I said, it was put to the test in a very, very big way. So I just wanted to put that out there. So it is a medium to full coverage that they claim. I think it's more medium coverage, and I will share that with you when I'm actually applying this product as well. It's a water-based foundation, which I really like too, but despite that, it's not runny. It does have a little bit of thickness to it, but sits on the skin so nicely. So you're gonna see right when I applied it, I did sort of mention foundation for me kind of collects around the nose, and that's just because it's where I get a little bit dry. I get a little bit dry on my chin. Sometimes it'll sit right here. Sometimes it'll sit in between my eyebrows. So just go ahead and make sure that you are putting the right skincare on. The right skincare when you have dry skin is the ultimate primer, because it will prevent your skin from sort of drinking up the foundation. It will allow it to be nice and hydrated so the foundation can perform at its fullest. So it's incredibly comfortable to wear, though it's not like very runny and thin like upon initial touch. The overall application of it is really quite thin, and it feels almost like nothing on the skin, making it very, very, very comfortable to wear. I think this is a really great warm weather foundation because it's a good medium coverage. You can apply a nice setting powder to sort of keep it in place a little bit longer, touches up really nicely without sort of adding like cakiness or separating on the skin as well. And like I said, this is pretty beloved in the green beauty community. So if you do enjoy this foundation and you can find a shade that works for you, it definitely has my thumbs up, and I will talk about that a little bit more in depth when I move on to the demonstration portion. But before I do, I'm going to share with you the 6 shades that we have here. We get really no more than like a very light deep, if that's any way of explaining it. But I will have a swatch photo down below so you can reference that. See what's best for you, and then if we offer samples of this foundation, I can't remember off the top of my head, I'm going to include those down below as well. You do get 3 samples free with every order on Integrity Botanicals. Foundations are a great thing to grab, or if these are for sale, I'll make note of that as well. So let's just run through the shades super, super quickly. We have the shade Latte, which is the lightest. We have the shade Honey, which is the one that I'm wearing. We have the shade Chai. We have the shade Caramel. We have the shade Brew, and we have the shade Mocha, which is going to be our deepest option. So I'm gonna have that photo down below. I do think that this foundation runs a little bit more yellowy neutral, so keep that in mind as well. I think that there's a lot of strong golden tones within this foundation. I think that's why I like it on my skin tone, even if Honey is a touch too light for me right now with a bit of bronzer. That overall undertone looks very, very flattering. Okay, now enough talking. I am going to show you exactly what I mean, show you how I like to apply this product. I love to use a sponge as always, but I am also going to show you it with a brush. Both are really, really great. The brush, of course, will build up the coverage just a little bit for you. And this is a buildable foundation, so I think that's why they call it a medium to full, but I think it's a medium. You could maybe just like knock on like full's doorstep, but really not quite, but that's what I enjoy about the foundation. So it's a very, very natural skin-like finish. This is it with just a tiny bit of powder, very, very light dusting. You know I don't like powder. I set my under eyes. I put a little bit extra concealer here and here. And overall, I'm really, really happy with how my skin looks. It looks like my skin, which is exactly what I want out of a foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut to the demo right now. All right, so of course I have to show you exactly how this foundation performs. So I already let you guys know that I use the shade Honey. Today I'm gonna share with you me applying it 2 different ways on different sides of my face. So I'm gonna go with a sponge. A sponge is really just how I apply all of my foundations. You guys know I have more of a dry skin. I don't have a ton to cover. I just get a little bit of unevenness here that's a bit red. Same goes for here. I got a little spot right there. I just need a general evening out of the skin, and this is really great since it is that more medium to full coverage. So I also let you guys know that it comes in this little tube. I use the shade Honey, so I am just gonna squeeze a little bit out on the back of my hand. We're just gonna work with like that much for right now. And what I like about the tube is it doesn't all come like squirting out and you're like, I'm about to waste all of that. Anyway, I'm gonna do half the side with the sponge, and then I'm gonna do the other half with the brush, and then of course I'll zoom you guys in so you can see. So per usual, I'm just kind of warming up on the back of my hands, and I'll just take a couple little bits. I'm gonna work on half of my face, like I said, and first we will go in with the sponge. So there's no major method to the madness. The shade Honey, now that I've gotten a little bit of color, is like a touch light, but you know, I'll have my full face done. You guys will have already seen my full face, so I can make it work, absolutely. So I don't know if you guys can tell quite yet with the way the lighting is on my face until I zoom you guys in. We are getting some nice coverage that still very much looks like my skin, and I think using a sponge will always maintain that skin-like integrity, which is really what I like my skin to look like. So we're just gonna use the fatter end of the sponge. This is the Hint Beauty sponge, and I'm just going to kind of soften all those edges. Not gonna take too much time here because I don't want to absorb any of the product, but I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you could see. It's kind of what we're working with, one layer. I am gonna put just like a little bit more like right here, and then usually I do a little bit more on my chin. So that's where I will sort of build this up. And you can build it up just a little bit. All right, so before I go with the brush, I want you guys to see. So this is with no foundation, and this side is with. So it looks really natural. I did prep my skin with all the 12 beauty products. I'll have that link down below. It sits pretty nicely around the nose. You know, it collects like just a little bit. Again, I think the sponge helps a lot with that. But I just love the way it looks right here, because it's just an even skin tone that doesn't look like makeup. So while I have you up close, I'm gonna go in with the brush. Brush is never my favorite way to apply foundation. I think if you have done makeup for a long time, you can make it look very seamless. But in general, I think it just looks more streaky and a little bit more makeup-y. But brushes are a great way to sort of build up the coverage as well, if that's what you're looking for. So I am using the ERE Perez. This is their multi-purpose brush. I think it's because you can really use it for like a cream bronzer. You can use it for a cream blush even, because it's a smaller brush. And that smaller brush really allows you to work it into the skin, up into the hairline, in those circular motions as well. And though this foundation does say it's medium to full coverage, I would not quite call it a full. I would feel very confident calling this a medium coverage foundation that is lightly buildable where you sort of need it to be. So again, speaking of building, I will just build this up a touch. Though I'm not the biggest fan of brushes, if we are going to use one, I like this one because it's very dense and it's small. So like I said, I make sure I kind of work it in to the hairline, even a little bit onto the ear, especially when the color is just a touch light. I could have mixed it, definitely could have, but just kind of want to show you this color on my skin. So it runs quite yellowy, but I find that when I blend it on the skin, it looks more neutral and it looks good. So I'm zooming you even closer. I really just want you to see what this can do. So I get a little red here. Collecting like a touch in the nose, that's just an issue for me. If you have more dry skin, that's something to note. See the brush, like I'm gonna go with the sponge right here on my jawline. Very similar finish at the end of the day. And it does claim to have more of a dewy finish. I find that it gets more dewy as it sits on the skin, but immediate application is just more skin-like. It's non-greasy, it's thin. It doesn't really feel like I have a lot on, and for that, I love it. But that was my quick demonstration. I am now going to put on my full face, which is how you've all seen me. And then of course I will sign off and let you know my final thoughts about the foundation. All right, everyone, that is it. Finally, I reviewed the ERE Perez Oat Milk Foundation. Now here's to hoping, like usual, that they come out with more shades, and I hope they do. And when they do, I will absolutely share that with you. In the meantime, if you want to investigate and see if this is something for you, I'm gonna have a swatch photo of all the shades down below, direct links to products used, the brushes that I've used, anything you would like to know, I'm gonna share it with you. Speaking of sharing, if you want to share this video, that would be really great. Turn someone on to a really nice green beauty foundation or any videos of mine that you are enjoying. Please also make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. It helps the channel a lot, as well as subscribe to the channel and ring that little notification bell. It will let you know whenever I post. You know, it is usually Thursdays and Sundays, but you know, any chance that that changes, it will just kind of keep you in the loop and notify you exactly when I upload. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. Any questions, comments, concerns you may have, I am always here to listen, and that is what the comment section down below is for. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Follow us on social media, and I will catch you all in my next one. Bye.